Now, as you likely know, back on Monday, Governor Ferguson signed Senate Bill 6346, the income tax. He signed that into law. Same day, a referendum was filed by Let's Go Washington and founder Brian Haywood. Now, less than 24 hours later, yesterday, the Secretary of State and Secretary of State Steve Hobbs came forward and said, I'm not going to process this referendum. Here's what he said in part, and we received an email. The proposed referendum submitted by Haywood sought to refer the bill in its entirety. However, Section 1208 of the bill declares that the tax imposed in this act is necessary for the support of the state government and its existing public institutions. He said basically, that's why the act is exempt from referendum. And he said, as a ministerial officer, I'm unable to accept Let's Go Washington's referenda for filing and will not process it further. So disappointing, but not surprising, according to Haywood and Let's Go Washington. In fact, I had spoken to him earlier the day, yesterday, before they got this news from Hobbs' office. And he said, if we can't do the referendum, we're going to go straight to the state Supreme Court because they believe that, this is something that needs to be settled there. Now, Governor Ferguson, after today's bill signing, was asked about challenges to the income tax that are coming. And this is what he said. It's a little bit hard to hear because he was kind of off microphone, but hopefully you can capture what he had to say.
They'll have their day in court. And that's as it should be. They'll have their day before the people. Totally appropriate. I'm very supportive of the initiative process, and I think the people should weigh in on this. The Supreme Court should weigh in on this. So I've got zero issue on that, and I feel confident going forward.
Now, Haywood with Let's Go Washington has already told the Center Square, again, they will ask the state Supreme Court to get involved because they believe the state constitution is clear that to make a bill, for lawmakers to make a bill that is referendum proof, it has to be a real financial emergency and necessary for the budget, not one or the other, but both. So lawmakers seem to think it only has to be one or the other. The governor seems to think it has to be one or the other. Ultimately, I guess the state Supreme Court will decide. But Haywood told me that, the real losers in this, everybody talks about, tax the rich. And it is going to be a tax on anyone who makes income above $1 million. You'll be taxed at nearly 10% of your income in excess of $1 million, or your combined household income in excess of $1 million. But the pass through businesses, according to Haywood, where that money is moving through, but it's considered the business owner's personal income for that year, that those people are going to be the ones that really take a hit and really could lead to business flight in the state of Washington.
The messaging on the income tax is they want to paint it as a bunch of dudes in yachts, right? That's who it's aimed at. But really, that's not who's going to get hit by this, because I don't have a yacht. They may try to paint me as one. I don't own a boat. I think that's a stupid investment anyway. But the people that have money are doing what they can to get to make themselves safe from the clutches of the state. The people that are going to get hit are going to be the small businesses that run a pass-through operation. I've talked with several people from the Yakima area, where you've got a lot of like Hispanic-owned farms now, right? And the family's been busting their hump to make this something valuable and meaningful, and they run it as a pass-through, and now that's going to hit them, right? And I'm just watching. These guys are going to get hit, and I don't think the bill was written very well. I think it's sort of confusing, so not everybody even can tell you, does this hit me? What exactly does this? Where's the level? What's excluded? What's not excluded?
Mhm. Now, as to the legal challenge that we reported on Monday being brought by Citizen Action Defense Fund and former Attorney General Rob McKenna, nothing has yet been filed. I'm told today they're still kind of working with a couple of the potential plaintiffs in the case, and that's coming together, and that's going to then ultimately determine the venue for where they file, which court they file. And if they end up with, plaintiffs in Eastern Washington, maybe there's a court there that would take up, the first round of this. Again, likely this moves to the state Supreme Court as well. And that one's probably going to be something that goes into next year when the makeup of the court could be entirely different with 5 seats of state Supreme Court justice positions on the ballot for the 2026 November election. So the whole makeup of the court is potentially going to be changed pretty dramatically, the court that would consider the challenge to the income tax.